I don't know how to write about my past without it being utterly false due to what the human experience is of past reflections and interpretation brings forth that. I think back to when paranoid schizophrenia was ruled out as me in life. I always thought I was normal. Maybe once in life I was normal. But the moment I threw my life to a higher purpose and jumped off the bridge, I lost my life, ultimately split from everything I had intended, and everything I had planned simply disappeared from life forever. In a sane sense, I can tell you what I went through, but experimentally, I went through heights of terror from within. I never truly dealt with it. I've lived with it my whole life from that point. I can tell you, I thought I never died. But my mom will say she heard from the services I did flatline. All I remember was being in the back of an ambulance, screaming while they packed heat on my body. I never felt nothing, no pain, just shocked and stunned. I woke up in Rocky Mountain House Hospital. I thought it was recent. I had flatlined, so when I woke up, I still felt like it had just occurred, and I was in a hospital. I did not know I was flatlining, and if it even felt like that, like a coma. And so I was there, blacked out. Most of what happened, only in pieces do I remember that. I remember when they transferred me to Red Deer Hospital in the back of another ambulance. I was still in shock, even though I probably was close to a week have passed. My whole left side of my body was pitch black. The biggest bruise in my life covered my entire leg. But the freakiest part about falling was that most of the miraculous part was in my feelings of what I felt was faith. I did not break or fracture a bone in my body. It was like when you punch a wall and you can easily break it, but what happened jumping off the bridge will always remain a mystery to me. How I think about it today relates to the belief that shifted. Possibilities. I never thought of till I jumped off the bridge. When I was in Red Deer Hospital, I stayed in shock for months. A state of shock. Because gradually it changed different ways for me. I'm not going to say the experiences I felt, because it felt what came from an insane logic that will distort what have occurred. At least not just yet. I stayed in Red Deer Hospital too long. I was hurting, scared, and caged like an animal. Strangest part about what I seen was the people who came to visit me. They all had heard I had jumped off the bridge and lived, but mostly I was incoherent to them visiting me. They all walked dressed in their best, like they went to see a fashion expert. My own family, cousins, friends. Nothing was basic or average. I received flowers, magazines, slippers, makeup, clothes, cards, and even real butterfly that was blue that I released. I think I never helped with my shock because suddenly I wondered where my family was and who they even were. And the person I cared for most, the spouse of 7 years at the time, the one who should have been suddenly there, suddenly cared little and was a very mean person. It was that death revealed a lot. And the craziest part is when you lose everything, how much glitter and material mean absolutely nothing. How the best dressed people mean absolutely nothing at all. And how much it feels like hell. From those points of start. And fighting with hallucinations. The fighting to live with all inner self and everyone around me. It carried on for years truly after that incident. My mom fought with the psychologist for me to be transferred to Calgary where she could care for me. So I did get transferred to Calgary. Initially, I was released on day passes and released upon being released. The hallucinations carried on worse. I was running away from my spouse and family. They chased me down the streets of the railroad tracks in Calgary. Some points were so bad. I yelled rape to my spouse, and another man would step in and ask him to leave me alone just so I could run away. He called my mom. I almost ran onto a three-way of vehicles to run, and the cop grabbed me before I got hit. From that moment, I was thrown into an isolation vehicle for the truly insane. All white walls and about a foot of wall, and no air, no sound. Not high enough to sit up in. It made my shock worse because in the back of this insane vehicle there were blood marks of someone else's blood. I thought from Red Deer I was transferred into hell, which was initially Calgary. The first time I ever seen the bottom floor of Peter Lauhey was just as rough. I piled blankets on the floor like a rug. When they released me again from hospital, I begged my spouse to come back to Red Deer. The television hurt me. The common relations spouting off technology was torture and sounded like the TV was constantly saying awful things. So also from the moment I rarely watched TV over the years, but I have always stayed through music. Music was there before the bridge, and it was there after to now. So we went back to Red Deer, moved into this awful building. I had severe trauma, and I wasn't me. I hung 2 pictures above my bed, had TV playing only spa music. Never ate, never drank water much till my lips were so dry and cracked. I wrapped a blanket around my head to walk 5 feet to the bathroom and get my spouse to walk me there. Showers terrified me. I wouldn't go into stores or buildings. They made me scared. Everyone shopped for me. I refused to leave my bedroom for months, laying in bed till I was a size 0, starving myself. I could smell my own waste of decay from not showering. Then my spouse called the police on me again. I was thrown in a room for a few days, then released again after a call and flush from not caring for myself. Living in Red Deer didn't work, so we came to Calgary. I was hospitalized again, only this time my spouse had left me when I was in hospital, and I never seen him again. Suddenly my mom was the only one who had to deal with the insanity. And for her strength in sticking around. I'm thankful and I salute her for that. As I was released again, I stayed that way for a few years. Nothing was the same. I became gifted in a lot of ways. Learning to decorate, write music, celebrations, etc. I got a vehicle. Another hospitalization got me again. The time I felt homeless because my mom wouldn't handle my reckless behavior, and I couldn't handle the emotional and physical abuse of fighting with family. As I was running from door to door, asking if anyone could help me, no one ever did. Not my uncle, not my brother, sister, mother. I almost died again. which is why I was hospitalized. Only this time the hospital treated me like gold, and I'll never know why. When I was in hospital, I found a room to rent with 3 men. I was seeing a worker who was setting me up with housing, but truly I had no idea what they could do for me. I was listening to her till she set me up with the interviews for the Alex. They came instructing me for my housing and care. I finally got my own space, my own apartment, and my own home. I was tested to see if I could independently cook for myself. I've been going hard in life since, living for things I want and people that matter. I still struggle today. I get mad convictions, and it's been 6 years since my last hospitalization. My life changed after that. Bridge, on a fast track and fast thought. I was changed from within. Now today I have a humble home and support that care. And I've managed to keep up with all my medications and the things they tell me to strive for and cope with. But like I said, there's a lot that happened. Too much to even properly write about. And when I look at my photos, it reminds me of this piece of insanity, where everything is possible and nothing can be pointed out as the reason for all circumstances entirely. It is like he's still here in what I do, who I am, how I write, how I reflect. I changed that day. And now racing since that day. Rushing through tragedies. Emotions. Thoughts and feelings and everything. The moments when everything became more, everything became possibly scary impossibility. Like how the worst may not happen, but it doesn't mean that there aren't worse things in life. It doesn't mean that there will be better things in life either. Just that there's possibility and probability. And so today I feel good. I feel like life is vast and I hold my dreams like they could save my life. And that's just a brief idea of only the last decade.